Tonight on Valley News Live 10 at 10, are you feeling a little tense these days? We hear from a crisis expert on how to handle tension as COVID-19 continues to keep us trapped at home. And new information on the man who is behind bars tonight after being picked up for coughing on a local grocery store employee. We begin tonight with a live sky cam from out west. That's the Minot area, where as you can see, there's a blanket of white on the Magic City, and it's moving our way. And for the last several hours, we've had light rain falling here. That's our first alert sky cam at the Dakota Magic Casino, where they have heavy rain. It's what's to come that is of most concern for everyone in the valley. Let's get the very latest from our first alert storm team meteorologist. That's Hutch Johnson. Hutch?
Mike, thanks so much. Let's get right off with the important facts of this storm system. There's going to be snowfall of 5 to 12 inches for many across our western and northern counties with isolated 1 foot readings, maybe even more than that now as new fresh model information is coming available. Wet, heavy type of snow. There'll be reduced visibility because we'll have some winds over 20 and 30 miles per hour. Areas of sleet and freezing rain have me very concerned, not only for the potential for some power outages here and there, but also for icy road conditions. And you do not want to slide off roads. Our ditches are filled with water. That could cause just a lot of problems. Thunder and lightning down in Sisseton and Point South. Very heavy rain. Heavy band rain making its way through Thief River Falls with some snow on the backside. Notice that things look like they're lightening up out there. We had reports of 6 inches of snow in Bottineau County out there to the west, but much more is in store. We have declared Thursday a first alert weather day. I'll have hour-by-hour details with the very latest on some updated model trends coming up here in a moment.
All right, we'll be looking forward to that. Thanks, Hutch. In Minnesota, the total number of cases of positive cases now stands at 689. That's an increase of 60 from yesterday. There's been 17 deaths and 54 people have been remain hospitalized right now, 27 in the intensive care unit. The Minnesota Department of Health is reporting 342 patients no longer need to be isolated. Meanwhile, North Dakota has 21 new positive coronavirus cases today, bringing the state total to 147. There have been 3 deaths. 26 patients are in the hospital. 39 people are listed as recovered. With this pandemic, more people are forced to stay at home, and that has some viewers reaching out to us with concerns about people living in unhealthy or unsafe home situations. Valley News Team's Katie Opperly spoke with experts from the Rape and Abuse Crisis Center on how to make sure you're safe at home.
We do have concerns for children and adults who are in homes where there might not be adequate food or basic needs. There might be violence in the home. There might be ongoing psychological and emotional abuse.
Domestic abuse victims may feel torn between going out and risking getting sick or staying home and potentially being hurt.
Anytime that we start confining people, if there's already violence established in that home, you can anticipate that it'll go up.
Johnson says even in a healthy home, tensions are high and people are on edge amid the pandemic. He recommends that people take a step back, remain patient with each other, and understand anxieties that others may have.
It really starts with, am I being patient? Am I being transparent with my kids? Am I helping enforce some of the guidance that we're all living under without being too demanding on the people around me?
Experts advise taking steps to help manage tensions at home, like take time away from others, think before you speak, have open communication, and don't hold a grudge. Johnson wants to remind anyone who may be experiencing a situation where they feel they need insight or help, the resources are still available.
For folks who are in a situation where they are being victimized, to know that they can reach out to those outside of that home, because the isolation is real and we start to feel like it's within those 4 walls, and to know that law enforcement is still very active, Rape and Abuse Crisis Center is still very active.
In Fargo, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
We have both Minnesota and North Dakota's 24-hour crisis hotline phone numbers online and on our VNL News app. North Dakota's governor says that the state has been overwhelmed by the unemployment filings recently. More than 28,000 have been submitted in the past 2 weeks. That's 7,000 more than all of last year's total. Job Service ND, the state's unemployment office, says they're seeing more filings from people working in the manufacturing sector. Early on, it was mostly those employed at restaurants and hotels. And for those wondering when the new federal programs will be implemented, the agency says that's weeks away.
Calling in to ask that question, like, when is it going to happen? What do I need to do to make sure that I get that? Those are questions that, you're really not going to get an answer to now.
And late this afternoon, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum announced that the 1-week waiting period for those wanting unemployment benefits has been waived. There's new information coming out of Moorhead tonight where police tell us a man who coughed on an employee at the Cashwise off of 34th Street this afternoon does not have COVID-19. Police previously told us that the man claimed to have the disease. When police got the call this afternoon, they say the man was accusing other races of creating the COVID-19 pandemic. He was still arrested on the way to jail. The man is accused of threatening an officer, so he now faces terroristic threats and disorderly conduct charges. His name has not been released. April Fool's Days can be troublesome for many, but after closing out what's been a monumental month, some are happy to see March 2020 in the rearview mirror. As Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie found out, some say it's a time they will never forget.
Goodbye, March. Hello, April.
It was definitely a memorable month because I feel like things went from being really fast-paced to all of a sudden we're homebound.
Surreal is probably the most appropriate word.
No one questions whether we'll be talking about this for generations to come.
I told them that this is something that we'll forever talk about, that they'll tell their kids about and they'll tell their grandkids about, and it's something you could never have predicted.
Many neighbors say although we're starting a new month, March 2020 will be hard to let go.
Most days I just find myself just shaking my head sometimes thinking, how is this happening to the world right now?
Even young kids seem to understand the severity and the monumental changes it brought.
It's nice to stay at home with your family, because then I have more time to spend time with my sisters and my parents.
I do miss school because it was my last year at elementary school, so that's sad.
But it's not all doom and gloom. Many neighbors are choosing to look on the bright side.
If the biggest thing we have to do is stay home and do our part by hanging out with family, we can handle that.
Because when you take a look at all that's been taken away,
To try and make the most of it and enjoy that this probably is the only time we'll get to spend this amount of time together as a family.
you realize that you might have gained so much more.
To find the hidden blessings in it all, and that's basically what I do every day is like, what are we gaining from this? And it's basically togetherness.
In Fargo, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.